Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
All right, and we're back. Believe You Me podcast. Today, joining the show, we will have the one and only Brendan All In Allen. We will have the one and only Michael Venom Page. We will have Arnold Allen. It is an Allen spectacular and a Harrington spectacular. Harrington with a shade of purple to you today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the kids are all in on this grimace thing, so I'm checking in with that. I'm seeing what's going on.
Okay, well, talking of grimacing, I was grimacing a little bit yesterday. We'll just talk about this for 5 minutes before Brendan Allen joins us. I was grimacing at the Jake Paul, Mike Perry open workouts yesterday. The W guy. Who is the W guy? Apparently it's Jake Paul's mascot. When I think of Jake Paul's mascot, I think of the giant robot dude or whatever, yeah. But now he's got a W guy. At the open workouts, Mike Perry's doing his thing. He's in the ring. He's hitting pads. He's putting a show on. You know, he's revving the crowd up. By the way, it looks to be in phenomenal shape. And then this mascot guy jumps in the ring, puts his thumbs down. Mike Perry body shots him. He goes down face forward to the floor, to the canvas. Couple more digs. And then all hell ensues, you know, the proverbial shit hits the fan, you know, and it all looked kind of staged. Look, listen, I'm not trying to piss on their barbecue at all, but 100% this was staged. It's very, very WWE-esque. They're having fun, right? But they were like, let's just do this, a little stunt to maybe gain a bit more interest. The reality is, as this fight gets closer, I am very, very interested in it. We spoke with Anthony on Monday. Obviously, Anthony feels, after talking to Dominic Cruz, that Jake Paul stylistically is going to give him a lot of problems. And I agree. Jake Paul's taller, he's longer, he's stronger, he's heavier. I think he hits harder. And I think you put all that together, it's a problem for Mike Perry. I think he does have probably more of a natural boxing style. Of course, this is big gloves as opposed to not small gloves, no gloves. Of course, for the people that don't know, the difference in that is when you've got, I'm not going to call them pillows because they're not. People die in boxing rings. But compared to a no glove situation or a 4-ounce MMA glove, it kind of is like a rather pillow-esque thing, you know, but I'm not calling them pillows. The relevance of that is you can see the punches coming. You can parry the shots easier. You can certainly block up and defend like this, you know. With small gloves or no gloves, you can still get through. So it's much, much harder to defend. But I do think Mike Perry has a path to victory. Hey, speaking of that, Brendan All In Allen with all but nothing clothes on.
Hey, it's hot down here in Florida, Mike. It's hot.
Hey, listen, I get it, buddy. I get it. I'm boiling right now in California. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Fantastic.
You look
That's
like
a lie.
You look like it.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm just constantly living in pain, serious neck pain for that matter. But other than that, tickety-boo, as we say in the UK. We were just talking about Mike Perry, Jake Paul there. Do you have any opinion on this fight this weekend?
Man, I never pay too much attention, but I've heard some things about like just their contracts and how Jake Paul's contracts are just like so weird. Like you don't make any money if you go like one round. You make a little bit more if you go 2 rounds. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. So I think they're just kind of tailored to him if that's true. But I think overall, I think Mike Perry's a better fighter than Jake. Mike's a funny dude, but he's found his niche in bare knuckle. He's a savage there.
Without question, that's the first time I've ever heard anything about the contracts. Would you mind elaborating on that just a little bit?
I don't know how true it is. I've just, you know how word on the streets are around fighting. I've just heard like when it came out for like, I think it was either Tyrone or Tyson, one of the T's. That it was like they didn't make much money in the first round, but they made a little bit more money in the second. And basically, if they went to a decision, they made whatever it was, like millions or something like that. Like it was tailored to for them to get the most out of their money to go to a decision. And Jake Paul got to pick the judges, like have a say so in who the judges picked.
I mean, this is all, boys in the gym,
Right, it's
word around the
speculation.
campfire. My sister's brother's stepmother, auntie at daycare, said this type shit. But that would make sense why Tyron Woodley hardly ever threw a punch.
I mean, that's just how I looked at it as well, to be honest with you, Mike. Was I don't pay too much attention, but it's
Sounds
weird.
like you've been hanging around with our producer, Brian Conspiracy Corner McKay. Anyway, we did go on.
I'm more of a facts guy, so for me it's like I don't really believe too much of what I hear unless I see it on paper. But when things start adding up as far as, well, these guys ain't throwing much punches and stuff like that, then I don't know. Exactly what you said,
Yeah.
though. It's just conspiracy theory at that point.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Speaking of facts, though, because you are a facts guy, the fact is you have a fight coming up. Nasruddin Imavov. I saw you making a bit of a ruckus online, Brendan. I did like it, to be fair. Like, I need a main event and all the rest of it. So how did this all play out?
I mean, my contract was signed before I even posted that. To be honest, I don't really like people's opinions too much, so I'm not really into giving people a reason to talk, to be honest. But every now and then I get a wild hair, and I like to give them something to talk about. So, yeah, I've been out for, I fought in April, so I've just been sitting waiting for something to come. I've been trying. I was out dealing, like, rehabbing and just being with my family as well. So it wasn't all just sitting there waiting, to be honest. But overall, it was just to give some people something to talk about. My contract was signed before. I will say, though, the first contract was signed at 3 rounds. As soon as I got it, I signed it. They asked me, International Fight Week, you want to fight him or you want to sit out and wait to see what happens with something bigger? I was like, no, I don't want to sit anymore. I want to fight in September. I've just been resting and healing. I want to fight in September and be with my family the rest of the year, go hunting and everything like that. So anyway, they offered me Imavov. I said yes. I think that was on a Thursday or Friday. Monday, I asked if we've heard anything back. Not a word. By the end of that week, they said it was 100%. Into the next week, they said it was 100%. Waited for the contract for another week. Didn't see nothing. Got the contract the same day I posted that video, signed it, posted that. And from here we go again with the speculation. From what I understand, the bosses said, well, it sounds like he just wants 5 rounds when they saw the video I posted. Why don't we just do a 5-round co-main?
Oh.
All right, let's go. Literally, so my manager called me. You want it? I was like, well, yeah, I asked for that when they offered the fight. He was like, all right, we'll see what happens. Come back, waited 2 days, and y'all's buddy from across the pond said no. He refused,
So it's 3 rounds, not 5 rounds.
Correct. It's just 3 rounds.
Okay. Just for the record, France and the UK, we have a long-standing rivalry. We're not buddies from across the pond. Nothing against the French people.
Train ride from London.
Oh, it's about a 30-minute flight. It's nothing. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. We have a tunnel that goes under the ground, under the English Channel. The English Channel, not the French Channel, that takes you to France, so we can get there very, very quickly. Talk to me about Imavov. I mean, you're on a 6-fight win streak now, Brendan. One would assume, and have you floated this to the UFC or through your management, you got to be closing in on a title fight sometime soon. Do you think that this will be the one, that kind of solidifies that?
I mean, I hope so. Every time it's something always occurs outside of my control. At the end of the day, I just go in there and I do my best to win and get paid and go home. It got to the point where I was really focused on the title as the wins kept coming, the finishes were coming. But it's always something else as far as, well, you haven't beat a top 10 guy or, well, you haven't beat a top 5 guy. And it was like, well, it's not my fault. I was there. I signed to fight someone. They didn't show up. I did. I still fought on all those dates that I was supposed to fight on. So it gets frustrating. I mean, obviously, you know how it is putting in all the work in camps and when you're away from your family and just everything. So it gets tough. I really hope this is the one, but to be honest, at this point, I feel like it's more of a following ordeal than a skill ordeal. I think skill-wise, I feel I'm the best in the world, but I don't have those 1, 2, 500,000 followers, 1 million followers. Like I'm just not that guy. Like I don't get on social media and do these little TikTok dances and all this kind of stuff. It's just not for me. I'm just not that guy. And I'm just me. At the end of the day, I'm just me. I'm just a redneck from Louisiana that can fight pretty good, and I'm just going to win. I don't really care too much about Imavov. I don't really think he should be number 4. But again, opinions are like assholes, and everyone has one.
Yes, they do. Yeah, but that's what you want to be. Just be yourself. I mean, listen, Sean Strickland, when he beat Imavov, ended up fighting Israel Adesanya. Not because that was a number 1 contender matchup, but my mind kind of goes there when you talk about, having the large following. Strickland's become like, he's the freedom guy right now. But you got to be yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I think when people just stay true to themselves, and whether you are a guy like that that's outspoken, that's talking crazy stuff and saying wild shit on Twitter or whatever, if that's the person you've always been, great. If you're just a humble redneck from Louisiana that likes to go and hunt, I think that's charming as well, Brendan.
I think it's more of like, if you don't know me, like if you haven't spoken with me, you probably think I'm arrogant, but it's just the fact that I don't agree with society. Like I don't agree with the way that most people have become. Let me say most people, because there are a lot of really good people out there still. But I just think like the social media has just killed like the way people behave and the way that like people act, and everything's just portrayed to be something you're not. And yeah, I say what I feel. I say what's on my mind, and that's not always the best thing. And so I just think unless you've had a conversation with me personally, then it's hard. Like I don't know. I don't think you can judge me or understand me. But yeah, I'm pretty messed up. Like I have. I have a funny sense of humor that I don't let people see unless it's with my close friends. So, and they're the ones that know me. So if you don't know me and you hear me talking to my friends, you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, this guy's nuts," Yeah. But I like I said, I just stick to myself. I'm on my business. But if you ask me a question, you're gonna get the true answer, no matter who likes it and who doesn't. Like I don't know how to shut my mouth or hide the truth. I just don't know how. So.
Well, probably a good thing that you stay off social media then. Because if there's one thing people are really good at these days, it's being offended for no reason whatsoever.
It's like that's the problem, because it's like you want to poke, and as soon as someone says something, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. I'd be so close to telling people, man, suck your mom. How about that? So close.
You should do that, bro. I'm telling you. You should just do it. Just say it. Just be yourself. It's not like you're in my position where, like I'm now, when I was a fighter, you can say whatever you want. You can say whatever you want. But then when you switch onto the other side, it's like, whoa, you got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? But as a fighter, your job is to just show up and fight. And if you want to say things that pisses people off, or you don't, whichever one it is, as I said before, just be true to yourself. And I think that's what people find really appealing and really interesting and fascinating. And that's how they connect with people. Anyway, enough of that. Big title fight coming up. You are closing in, regardless. Like if we look at Leon Edwards, he took a really, really long path towards becoming a champ and getting his shot. But when he finally got it, I mean, the man's doing phenomenal things. His contender next week in Manchester, Bilal Muhammad, same thing. I mean, he has been so pissed off, you know what I mean? And he feels like there's a big conspiracy against him and all the rest of it. But you continue to plug away. Eventually you get there. So if you keep doing that, eventually you're going to get there. And I think a win over Imavov, certainly. I'd be shocked. The only problem is for you, I would say, is you've got Dricus and Izzy. They're going at it in August. You got Sean Strickland, who's feeling very entitled right now, waiting on the sidelines. There's Khamzat Chimaev demanding a title fight right now in October. and then obviously Robert Whittaker. What do you make of this whole situation?
It's crazy, man. To be honest, it's super crazy. I mean, you've been around this sport probably way longer than me, so I'm sure you haven't seen it like this in a long time, at least, if not ever. So, at least for our division. Yeah, again, it's things that I just don't understand. Like, I'm just a realistic person. I really think of fighting as who's the best fighter, even though I know it's not about who's exactly the best fighter, it's a business, it's a business. I'm sorry, it's just facts. So I don't see how Izzy gets to fight for a belt coming back after being out so long, coming off of a loss. Like, I don't understand that.
Well, just let me jump in there. I think, to be fair, and I say this, and I don't say this as an Izzy supporter, because a lot of people say that all the time. It's not the case. He was a long-time champ, and he did lose.
Sure.
And Strickland beat him easy. Strickland beat him at his own game, on fair play. But he was a champion for a long time. So I guess that kind of does him a lot, not of favors, but there's good graces there because of the schedule that he had and the amount of times he defended the belt. Surely you can see that. For sure.
I definitely respect what he's done. He was definitely the king for many years. Yeah. He was the king, and he was doing what he was supposed to do as a champion. I don't know, man. I just find it kind of weird in that aspect because he lost to Alex. Okay, many guys have done, that's happened to many guys. He comes back, he beats Alex, then he fights Sean and loses. That's how it was said, right? Yep. So he lost one, won one, lost one. Now he's going to fight for the belt again. Like, I get it. I get the fact that he was the king and he
that's a fair point.
The division. Yeah, I mean, he cleared it out for a little bit, but now things have changed a little bit. Dricus is new blood. They have their little back and forth tiff of Africa or whatever. But yeah, I saw the Sean fight as the one to make after that fight because honestly, I thought Sean won. Obviously, I haven't watched it back in extreme detail, but from at that point in time, I thought Sean won. And then you have Whittaker, who's always there, man. He's just that guy that's always there. As soon as you count him out, he comes back, and he's got a crazy style, and he's got a hell of a record behind him as far as experience. His experience is, I don't think anyone has that experience right now. So it's weird. I don't even worry about Cumshot. The dude can't even get into America, so I don't worry about that. That's like not even something in relevance.
Yeah, let's just disregard him right now then. And I don't mean that in an insulting way. But out of all of those people that are kind of, they're all staking their claim. It's like Game of Thrones in the middleweight division. They all feel they have entitled to the Iron Throne. Out of all of those people, which would be the one that you would love, stylistically or just for a personal reason, is the one that you get to face when you fight for the belt?
Man, I really want to rematch Sean. I tried to get the Sean fight very, very bad. Since my last one, obviously, he decided to wait. But according to what I heard from reliable sources, if Whittaker and Cumshot would have fought and Cumshot would have won, Sean said he would have fought me. Obviously, that didn't happen, so he's willing to wait. But you never know. That's a really risky thing. It's so risky because you never know. Someone could go out there and have a killer performance. You can piss someone off outside of fighting and just not get the job. Whittaker could get it over him. He had a great performance. But I don't know. Either Sean or Dricus, because I've been wanting to fight Dricus since he come into the UFC. I asked for that fight multiple times. When he entered the UFC, I've always said he is literally the luckiest fighter on the roster. I still believe that. So one of those two, Sean or Dricus.
Okay, I feel like I know what the answer is to this question, but if you were to put a label on those fighters as most annoying in the mind of Brendan Allen, who would that be? Or like least likely to get invited to your Christmas party?
Oh, probably Dricus.
Oh, really? Why? Why Dricus? I like Dricus.
I don't.
No,
I think he's
out of like Whitaker, Strickland, Dricus, Izzy, Hamza, out of those 5 people that are an issue in your life right now, because they're all staking the claim, which one are we killing first?
That's a tough one. I don't know. Like a lot of people say, me and Dricus would get along, but we don't. Like I don't. Like I've seen him in the gym. I've watched him train. I've trained with so many people that trained with him, and yeah, I just don't. I don't like him. I think he's. Don't get me wrong. We all have a little cockiness to us, at this level, at this high, with around guys. But man, I'm a little cocky when someone new comes in, maybe, but I stay away. I don't talk to them until like I find out they're a nice person. But a perfect example, me and Gregory Rodriguez are 2 really good friends. Me and Joe Pyfer, really good friends. They're both middleweights. They're both good. We have a little arrogance to us when we fight or when it comes to fighting. But after that, we're really good friends. We have so much in common. But me and him just don't like. I don't know. I just don't like him. But I don't know. Out of them 2, I think the least likely to have similar views is probably me and Izzy. I definitely don't feel we have a lot of similar views whatsoever. So, yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, so the fight's going to go down in France, and best of luck against Imavov. And mate, you deserve a title fight in the very, very near future. And I truly mean that. I mean, the results are there. It's as simple as that. France, you ever been there before?
No, I'm not much of leaving the country. I'm going to go to London first, though.
That's a good call. But what are you expecting in France?
I don't know, man. I'm just going there to get the job done. I don't care about him, about France. I don't care about none of it. I'm going there. I'm going to finish him, and I'm going to go home back to my family and get ready for my baby boy to be born. And I don't really care about too much after that, to be honest. I ain't putting no thought into Paris. I ain't putting no thought into him. Obviously, in the coming weeks, the thoughts will all go into him and preparation and game planning and, everything that comes with that. But for now, I'm just focused on getting myself in shape and getting, sharp.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you got everything, all your priorities straight. Let me ask you a final question. The mother of your child, is that your wife or longtime girlfriend? Is it your wife?
Yeah, she's my wife now.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids by an ex-wife.
Okay.
And now I have.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
The only reason I asked that is because, if I was ever fighting in Paris, so is the wife like, you got to bring me to Paris?
Man, a lot of people ask me that when it comes out, just because I don't really keep my personal life. I try not to keep my personal life out there because there's always somebody that tries to ruin it. They don't like people to be happy. So yeah, my wife, she's Brazilian, and she's been all around the world traveling and playing sports and everything like that. And so she just wants to go to support. She don't care if it's Paris, she don't care where it's at. She just wants to come to support me. And so traveling to just Paris for the name, she's been there a couple times for, she works for the UFC. So she's been there a few times.
Okay. Oh, she's been all over the bloody world then. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring up your personal stuff. I just expected like a fun little thing. Oh, yeah, she never wants to come. All of a sudden, now she wants to go to Paris. Oh, now you want to come and support? There's some women like that.
No, she gets mad at me if I'm like, babe, I'm sorry, it's a business trip. I just want to go fight because I'm going to be in a weird mind frame and weight cut and everything like that. I cut a good bit of weight to get there, so... but she gets mad at me if I say that. So she's coming as long as she can travel and is feeling good with the baby at that point.
I used to say the exact same thing. I didn't like it because I was so obviously dialed in for the fight and I wasn't paying her attention. And then with her being there, it kind of felt like a distraction. Is she okay? What is she doing? What are her and the kids doing? Do they need entertaining, somewhere to go, some destination? What are they eating? Because I'm locked in, dialed in. So that I always felt like it was a distraction when my wife and children came, even though you love them dearly, and that's why we compete. Anyway, Brendan Allen, thank you for your time, brother.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me as always, and looking forward to the next time.
Okay, well, I'll see you in Paris, if not before. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Maybe next time you got some clothes on.
Maybe, man. Maybe be a little bit cooler.
See you, buddy. Take care, man. All right, this episode is sponsored by Hexclad, which is revolutionizing your cooking experience with Hexclad cookware. This is where innovation meets culinary excellence. Hexclad cookware is designed to simplify your time in the kitchen while adding a touch of elegance to every meal. Hexclad has changed the cookware industry with an all-in-one hybrid pan that gives you the convenience and cleanup of non-stick, the versatility of your grandma's cast iron, and the durability to last a lifetime. That is correct. They have a lifetime warranty. So whatever it is that you're cooking up, you want to do it with Hexclad. They are endorsed by Gordon Ramsay. I'm very happy to say that we received some samples, and let me tell you, these things are fantastic. It is like using a cast iron skillet. That's what Ellie was using because she wouldn't let us cook with the non-stick stuff anymore. Apparently, it's supposed to be so bad for you. So she's using the cast iron pan, but they are extremely heavy. They also get extremely hot. I grabbed the handle, I burnt my hand. Not with Hexclad. It's extremely light. It's very, very easy to clean. According to Rebecca, the more you use it, the better it cooks. It heats up really, really quickly as well, and extremely light as well. And as I said, Gordon Ramsay, who many people know is a bit of a critic, he only trusts Hexclad pots and pans at home and in his Michelin-star restaurant. So if it's good enough for Gordon Ramsay, then you will be satisfied also. So for a limited time, Hexclad is giving listeners of the Believe You Me podcast 10% off the order with the exclusive link. Just go to hexclad.com/believe to get your hands on some beautiful, might I add, beautiful pans from Hexclad and get 10% off. Hexclad.com/believe for 10% off your order. One more time, hexclad.com/believe. Herringbone.
What's up, Mr. Bisping?
Yeah, he's a nice guy, Brendan Allen. You know, he said, because of the cockiness or whatever, you got to be cocky. You got to be arrogant. You got to believe in your skills. Simple as that. You know, you're not going to get to the top by underestimating yourself. And it's kind of like Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's one of the nicest guys you'll ever speak to. But he is very matter of fact in his capability. And I've said this multiple times. That's not from an arrogant standpoint. That's just because he recognizes and knows what he's capable of achieving. And Brendan Allen's kind of the same way. You know, I mean, the results are there. Anyway, speaking of potential results, at the weekend, we were talking about Jake Paul and Mike Perry. I was just going to say, the way Mike Perry wins this fight, and God only knows, we all want Mike Perry to win. I'm assuming you want Mike Perry to win.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, it's up there with like the Rocky needing to win at the end of Rocky 2, dude. The redemption story has to be completed.
Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
Jake Paul's Clubber Lang. That's the it was 3. For crying out loud, I should know this. I'm ashamed. Brian just edited that bit out. Yeah, Mike Perry is going to get on the inside, of course. He's the smaller guy. He's the shorter guy, but he's the quicker guy, and he's by far the more aggressive guy. And in the pocket, he's going to have a lot of success. A lot of his punches are tight, short, little small hooks. That's what he did against MVP. That's what he did against Luke Rockhold. Jake Paul was talking yesterday about keeping him on the end of his jab, right? Jake Paul's going to try and slow the fight down. I mean, look at the fight he had against Nate Diaz. It wasn't exactly, you know, an all-action rock'em sock'em robots type thing. You know what I mean? And that Nate Diaz was not the Diaz that showed up against Masvidal. Let's just put it like that. But Mike Perry, if he goes at him the whole time, like a little buzzsaw with aggression and fast, powerful shots in the pocket, that's going to be a nightmare for Jake Paul. The only question is, can he maintain that pace? Because fighting like that is extremely tiresome. Can Mike Perry maintain that pace? If he can, that would be the recipe to beating Jake Paul quite comfortably, I think. I don't know about finishing, but I would love to see that.
Yeah, that is one of those things, though. Like Brendan was just talking about, you know, Jake gets to pick the judges in his fights and things like that. I mean, it's an MVP promotions production. So it's like, I do question, right, just because of boxing being the nature of what it is, I question any fight going to the scorecards and them not reading Jake Paul's name to get their guy over. I thought for sure he was going to get screwed, he was going to get screwed to win in the Tommy Paul fight. So, not Tommy Paul, Tommy Fury fight. So, I don't know how well a decision goes for Mike Perry in a fight like this, but, I do agree. And I think for somebody like Mike Perry, if you take out the wrestling, take out the threat of the head kicks, that's a guy who could have stayed in your face for 25 minutes in a UFC octagon. I don't see why he couldn't do that against Jake Paul in a boxing ring.
I just hope that he does. I really hope that he does, because I've got nothing against Jake Paul. I say that all the time. I don't, but he's a bit annoying. Mike Perry, how can you not resonate with Mike Perry? Yeah, he's a wild man. He said some crazy shit, but he's hilarious. My YouTube editor did a video yesterday. It was Mike Perry dancing before a UFC fight, before he was about to fight. And he's doing, what did he call that move? What did he call it? There's a,
flossing? The running man.
The running man. He's doing the running man before he fights. I'm like, this guy's hilarious. He's out of his mind. Go on.
How about when he asked for the Halo video game theme music, and instead they played Beyonce's Halo, and he's like, all right, and just started singing along and dancing to it. Yeah.
Brings his girlfriend in to corner him as the only cornerman. He's a wild man, and I love it. I love that about him, and I wish him nothing but the best this weekend. Real quick, Conor, how's he involved here? I just see Conor's name in the notes there.
Well, he's a partner with BKFC now. So he was at their press conference in Spain. It was he had a lot of words, right? First and foremost, the fact that he was in Spain, a lot of people bringing up Ilia Topuria, said that he would, he'd beat him up. He's too big for him. Ilia's too small, et cetera, et cetera. He said that he sees himself as a player manager going forward with BKFC. He said there's 2 fights left on his UFC contract. Then he would love to become a 2-sport champion, claiming gold in BKFC. And finally, got the crowd all riled up, said, of course, everybody here is rooting for Mike Perry against Jake Paul this weekend. I think he called Jake Paul a dweeb. And then he said, obviously everyone here can resonate with Mike Perry, and they can see what BKFC can do for the second half of a fighter's career.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right on most points there. I don't know if Ilia's too small for Conor McGregor, though. McGregor's not exactly the biggest guy. What a fight that would be, though. Could you imagine? And what a fight that would be hypothetically. A 2016 version of Conor McGregor and the 2024 Ilia Topuria, who is
at featherweight. Jesus,
at featherweight, that'd be amazing. Conor, he's got 2 more fights left on his UFC career, on his UFC contract. It's hard enough getting him to have 1 fight on the 2 fights, you know what I'm saying? But he could smash those out real quickly. He could smash those out quick. I'll tell you what. It'd be kind of cool seeing Conor McGregor in bare knuckle. I'd like to see it. Given the Irish gypsy bare knuckle boxing. Not that he has that background, but it comes from that neck of the woods. Anyway, we've got a few minutes before the one and only Michael Venom Page joins us. Tell us about Paddy Pimblett. What's he been saying lately?
So Paddy Pimblett, again, contract talk. This is apparently the last fight on his contract. He did say though he had talked about maybe influencer boxing or something like that. He made it very clear he fully intends to re-sign with the UFC after this fight. He said this is where the best fighters in the world fight. Why would I want to go to any other organization? It's preposterous. And he also said that he sees this as a stepping stone, right? With this new contract that he's signing, he has a 4-fight plan to get to a title. He said it involves Renato Moicano, Beneil Dariush, any top 5 lightweight, and then a title shot.
Yeah. The problem is, obviously, let's read between the lines here. One would assume the UFC made him an offer. They always do. So they made him an offer, and he's declined that offer, and he's essentially gambling on himself. That he's going to go out there, he's going to beat Bobby Green, he's going to do it in sensational fashion, and then therefore get an increased contractual offer. That's what he's planning on, right? And I respect him for that. And a lot of people do that. They kind of roll the dice. Problem is, when you lose, the contractual offer normally goes down, because that's just the way the game works. You want to try and screw me for a bit more? Fine. Well, then we'll screw you for less. Your stock has just gone up. You get the offer goes up. Well, now your stock has just gone down. So then the offer goes down. It's just fair business. That's the way it works. So I respect him for doing this, because Bobby Green is a really, really tough matchup. And this is going to be kind of the sink or swim moment for Paddy Pimblett. And I say that with respect. That's not me talking shit, because now, you know, he kind of had a slow rise in the UFC, not the craziest schedule, a massive fan base, you know, Barstool Sports apparently giving him big contracts and big social media following and massive support in the crowds. I mean, I commentated most of his fights, I think, and, you know, he whips the crowd up into a frenzy. So hugely, wildly popular and, you know, a slow ascension. Of course, he had the Jared Gordon fight, which hurt his stock. It was a very close fight. You know, I leaned towards Jared Gordon on the night, probably still do, but whatever. It's not his fault. But then some of his remarks afterwards kind of turned people off him. Then he comes back and fights Tony Ferguson after a long layoff as well. He wins that fight, but that's a really tough situation because it's Tony Ferguson on a losing streak. You know, now he's fighting not Bobby Green, King Green, pardon me, let's get it right. Fighting King Green. He's fast, he's quick, he's got great takedown defense, he's got cleaner boxing, he's got more experience, and he's more of a natural fighter, and he's had a way higher pace. I mean, how many fights has Paddy had in the UFC? 4, 5, something like that. Bobby Green's schedule in like the last 18 months is about equivalent to that. He already wants to fight Dan Hooker in August in Perth. That's the type of guy that you're talking about with Bobby Green. Let me just look at his record here. So Bobby Green, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since April 2023, he's had 5 fights. How many fights has Paddy had?
I'm looking it up right now.
I'll beat you to it. Too late. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 fights since 2021. Bobby's been on that same schedule in the last year. Jalen, no, it's just the facts. It's what nuts. Wikipedia. It is, but that's great for Bobby. It's great for Bobby, and in one sense, great for Paddy. Because you want to take your time. You don't want to be rushed to the wolves, into the deep waters, swimming amongst the sharks, you know, because every training camp you get better. But as I said, this is kind of sink or swim. This fight against Bobby Green, not only does it put pressure on him contractually with what I just spoke about there, but it also puts, if he wins this fight, then we know, hold on, potentially Paddy, there's still title aspiration talk. You know what I'm saying? If he loses, that doesn't necessarily go away because you can always lose fights and come back. I lost plenty of fights. But if he loses that, then it's like, it'll slow the roll. It'll slow the talk. It'll affect the momentum and all the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? So in many ways, it's kind of sink or swim, do or die. What's another one?
Make or break.
Make or break, win, do or die, win or lose.
Shit or get off the pot.
Shit or bust. Jesus, Brian, we're trying to limit the swearing. He comes on. What did he say? Shit or pot?
Shit or bust. I've never heard that one before.
It's shit or get off the pot.
Shit or get off the pot. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. That's what we're always saying to Callum in our house. Jesus Christ. I don't know what he does in there. He lives on the bathroom.
What a teenage boy could be doing in the bathroom. He's in his 20s now. My bad.
Yeah, he's 23. He has his own bedroom, and he's moving home, actually. Callum will be moving home. Yeah. And we're very, very excited for that. Anyway, Michael Venom Page should be joining us right about now. It's been a while since we've said that. Throw another topic at me while we just wait for MVP.
Okay, well, let's keep it in the lightweight division. Dustin Poirier says that he does not want to retire off that loss. He says that he will for sure have at least one more fight, and he gave a bunch of names. He said Conor McGregor, it'll be against one of the following: Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, Alexander Volkanovski, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, or Colby Covington.
How funny would it be if Dustin Poirier comes out and steals Michael Chandler's Conor McGregor fight?
Oh, God. Oh. It could happen.
Good.
It could. Listen, I'm not saying it's going to, but be honest right now. Be honest right now. You ask any MMA fan, Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor, yeah, they coached the Ultimate Fighter together, and it's a highly anticipated matchup they're all dying to see. Dustin Poirier is going to fight one last time. It will be the final time he steps foot in the octagon. What would you rather see? Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor, or Dustin the Diamond, the Benoit Saint-Denis Duster versus Conor McGregor? Which would you rather see? What would you rather see?
I want to see Conor McGregor win a fight. So Michael Chandler, he can't beat Dustin Poirier. We found that out, dude.
Well. I mean, the 2-1 in their saga.
Okay, and that one was from literally a decade ago.
Yeah. Brian, what would you rather see? Chandler or Dustin Poirier? They can't do that to Dustin. To Chandler. They can't do that.
I think it would just be a hilarious cap on the Michael Chandler Dustin Poirier beef. Says, "Fuck, get out of here! I'm stealing your payday."
Maybe he's just doing it on purpose, just to ruffle the feathers, stir the pot. Who were the other names? Nate Diaz,
Alexander Volkanovski, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, or Colby Covington.
I mean, he's beaten Max twice. He fought Max twice already. I mean, Dustin Poirier. Good. I'm not surprised he wants to have one more shot. Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? He's 36? He didn't get beat up too badly against Islam. Yeah, there was a bit of blood and stuff like that. You go 5 rounds with the champion of the world, from Dagestan. It's going to be a painful one, but all fights are. He wants the rush, he wants the thrill, he wants another payday, but more importantly, he wants that feeling of victory. That's why we all do it. Yeah, the money's great, the fame's fantastic, but that feeling. And also when you check out, when you punch your ticket and you leave, you hopefully want to leave with the impression of you as a winner. That's how you want people to remember you by. Not getting knocked out by some Kelvin Gastelum type figure, which was shite, but I had no business taking that fight because I just fought a couple of weeks before it, don't you know, right? But so what, you wee bastard, you. So what? Fuck him. That's not the lasting impression of a magnificent career you want to leave.
Well, I was going to say, isn't Dustin's from ATT, right? Which is like that Florida gym, like their captain for a while was Robbie Lawler. And that guy had probably the most beautiful retirement, other than Korean Zombie, I think, in MMA history. So to see the guy who you've been kind of training with and that's been like the goalpost to get to see him go out like that for a career like Dustin Poirier's, I feel like that kind of puts something in your head a little bit.
No, it does. It does.
Oh, check this out. I got a non-MMA story for you. So there is a new cancer treatment that's showing incredible promise. One woman, she had a brain tumor, just a massive brain tumor. She started taking this new drug that makes your own T cells go and fight the tumor for you. She shrunk the tumor to nearly undetectable margins in 5 days.
It's incredible. And I'm so glad you brought this up because I know so much about brain tumors and medical science, and I've got so much to offer here. And this is the podcast where people come here for. Yes.
You do know about horror movies, and this is how zombie movies start. This is that movie with Professor Grant, who ended up being a vampire. The whole world's vampire. Like, this is how every zombie
28 days later?
It's how 28 Days Later started, too. This is how everything starts. Just, we have a cure for cancer. It only takes 2 days. And then a year later, people are running for their lives.
Yes. So, because I know the other story in there, Harrington, because I look at the notes, is about a vaccine for cancer, which is being developed in the UK. And apparently it's ready to roll out to the market, correct?
Not to roll out to the market, but it's starting human trials.
Yes. And so here's the thing, and here's the damage that they've done with this whole vaccine stuff. And I know before any of you start, I was all about it because I had vaccines when I was a kid. A lot of us did. We all did. My mother doesn't have polio anymore. Vaccines generally have worked. They came out with this vaccine, they rushed it, and it turns out it wasn't a vaccine at all. Because guess what? You take it and you still get COVID. The president of the United States currently has COVID. And yesterday on the news, it said he took the vaccine and he got the booster. And of course, now he's off the campaign trail because he's got COVID. Okay. It's very convenient timing, though, when he's having all these gaffes and mumbles and fluffles. Do you know what I mean? So that's where my mind went. When I saw that, I thought, well, so many people now are going to be so hesitant to even try this And rightly so, because there's been so many complications and, side effects and potentially people passing away because of the vaccine. If you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast and the people that he has on there, that's what they say. I personally don't know anyone that's died of the vaccine, but there is those stories out there and they've got to be taken seriously. And I know that I was like, oh, the vaccine, they've got a vaccine, give it a try. I took it. Turns out we were all lied to and fed a lot of bullshit. Right? It didn't work at all. And it was all clearly a money grab. A massive, massive money grab from Big Pharma. So I don't mind saying I was wrong there. And the problem is, let's just assume that this vaccine is a real vaccine and it is a massive scientific breakthrough that will cure cancer or stop people from getting cancer in the first place. That's just remarkable. That would be one of the biggest, greatest achievements probably in human history. That would just be such a game changer. It'd be so amazing. The amount of people that pass away due to cancer, it's a terrible disease. It'd be incredible. But I tell you what, the appetite for that right now is not going to be very healthy. Even if it is legitimate, the amount of damage they have done to the word vaccine and to people that pursue medical science with good intentions, I'm telling you, there's a lot of damage done, and I think people would be very hesitant.
Well, I think that's why the human trial starting is like such a big deal, right? Because that's one thing we didn't have with this, rush rollout and emergency rollout of this vaccine that the government said that the drug companies would not be responsible for any damages done to it. It gave them a rubber stamp to do whatever they wanted. Having a thing now where it's going to go through human trials, it's probably going to take 5 to 10 years to fully research these people, look at the effects that this vaccine had, see if cancer does start, you know what I mean? This is going to be like closer to a real ethical drug trial, and not that nonsense that they rolled out. And if that's the truth, I think you can restore people's faith in science.
Hold on, Harrington sounds. Are you getting a little payment under the table there, Harrington? Because you sound like one of these doctors that when someone comes in, they got hit by a car 6 months ago. No, they got hit by a car and died, but they had COVID 6 months ago. Yeah, he died of COVID. That's what you sound like right now. Are you in bed with Big Pharma, Harrington? What the hell? Brian, can you have a word with this guy and try and speak some sense to him?
I've been
please?
trying for years.
Hey, he wasn't the one taking the vaccine. I took the vaccine. I don't mind saying it. I did. I wish I hadn't have done now, but I did.
I got fake wallpapers.
Yeah, a lot of people got fake wallpapers.
Yeah.
I had to travel. Do you know what I mean? And
that's why I got fake wallpapers.
And an employer insisted on it.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. But well, I hope there is a cancer vaccine. I really do. But I'm just saying, I don't think the public en masse is going to be buying this for a very, very long time, which is a shame. It is a real shame, but that's what happens. There's always consequences of bullshit. It's the boy who cried wolf, unfortunately. Anyway, you don't want to come here and talk about that. That's more of a conspiracy corner. It's more of a Joe Rogan episode. I can't wait. That's a Joe Rogan episode waiting to happen. But Magomed Ankalaev, he's been talking about some sparring sessions.
Yeah, I mean, also on a podcast, seems like that's where all news comes from at this point. So he's on there. He's talking about he got into a sparring session with Francis Ngannou. He said Francis was absolutely trying to take his head off to the point where he had to take him down and just hold him there to ride out the round. And as soon as the timer was up, he got up and was like, "Get away from me! I do not want to spar with you again." After that's how you treat your training partners. He later found out that it was because Magomed Ankalaev had knocked out Dalsha Langabulia.
Langiambula.
Okay.
Have a bit of respect.
I have so much respect. What I don't have is the pronunciation cards that you guys get as UFC production.
Langiambula. Phonetically, that's how it's spelled out. I think what's going on here is a little bit, whatever. They had a bit of a beef in sparring. Maybe it's because he knocked out Dolce Langiambula. Maybe it's because they're friends. And maybe Francis Ngannou, that's just the way he spars, because he's a big, strong, extremely dangerous, powerful heavyweight, and he's incapable of throwing any other way. But I think what's going on here is just like saying, well, look at this, guys. I was able to take down Francis Ngannou and control him. You think I can't take down Alex Pereira? I think that's probably what's going on there. A little bit of what's the word I'm saying? Like indirect shit talk and just throwing a bit of fuel on the fire.
Yeah, it's a humble brag. Like, look, I didn't want to do it, but I had to take down the former champion of the world and hold him there for 5 minutes. Like it was nothing.
Guys, he was trying to take my head off. You know what I mean? So I had no chance. I had to take down Francis Ngannou, one of the most dangerous heavyweights ever. And I held him down. It actually was relatively easy. I didn't want to do that, but I did. And I mean, yeah, I could do that to Alex Pereira, but I'm going to stand and I'm going to try and knock him out. Okay. So Kamaru Usman, you've got him here as well in the notes, saying that he expects his next fight to be either Jack Della Maddalena, Shavkat, Ian Garry, or Bilal Muhammad. Well, what?
You just said those guys are not on my level, and it's time for me to assert my dominance again at the top of the welterweight division.
He said that all those 4 guys on his level.
Yeah, he said they've been talking about me, and these guys are going to find out soon. I'll find the exact quote.
So the only way that he fights Bilal Muhammad is if Bilal Muhammad loses to Leon Edwards. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Because he lost to Hamzat, he lost to Leon. By the way, Kamaru's a legend. He's a fantastic human being, incredible career. But he's on a 3-fight losing streak, right? 2 to Leon, 1 to Hamzat. Mm-hmm. So the only way he fights Bilal is if Bilal loses. Shavkat, God, I mean, I respect him for calling out Shavkat in that regard, and it just shows the hunger from Usman to get right back in the title picture. Jack Della Maddalena, that's great. Throw him in there with Ian Garry. That's where I'm going with this one. Throw him in with Ian Machado Garry, the greatest welterweight on planet Earth. That's what I say. What would your pick be out of those 4?
Yeah, I mean, that's the fight that MVP wanted following a win. Ian Garry walked away from that fight with a win. I think you run back that Shavkat JDM booking as soon as you possibly can. I don't think Bilal, off a losing title performance, puts Kamaru in a much better position than he's in right now. So, yeah, I think Ian Garry makes the most sense.
All right, today's episode is sponsored by Shopify, which is the e-commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. If you are selling something, if you have a product, if you're already actively selling, but you're not online, then you're obviously missing a trick. The year is 2024. You've got to get online. If you're thinking about starting a business, you need to have an online presence. Of course, to a lot of people, that seems complicated, time consuming, and it also sounds expensive, bringing in a web designer, buying a domain name and all that stuff. Not with Shopify. Shopify makes it very, very simple. It makes it very quick and extremely cost effective. Shopify covers every sales channel from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform. Lets you sell across social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. It's packed with industry-leading tools to ignite your growth. Shopify gives you complete control over your business and your brand. You don't have to learn any new skills in design or code. There's a 24/7 customer service helpline. There's an extensive business course library, and Shopify will be there to support your success every single step of the way. Sounds good? It does sound good. Guess what? You can sign up for $1 per month for a trial period when you go to shopify.com/believe. All of those possibilities, they are powered by Shopify. So it's time to get serious about your selling and try Shopify today. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/believe. Shopify.com/believe to take your business to the next level today. Shopify.com/believe.
What's going on?
What's going on indeed, Mr. Allen? How are you, brother?
Good, man. Yourself?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. It's been a while since we've spoke. How is everything?
Yeah, life's good, man. It's nice. Everything's good. Training's going well. Obviously, I'm in the best shape of my life, all that stuff.
Of course, always. I spoke to Tom Aspinall. He said the same thing. And that's what all fighters say. But are you really in the best shape of your life, Arnold?
Probably felt a bit better when I was like 21, but yeah, no, I'm in good shape.
Mentally, though, probably the best shape of your life.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like in a good position with like still being young, but still being very experienced as well. So yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, well, the shoulders are popping. I mean, you're always in good shape, but look at those deltoids, man. They are popping through that shirt, through the almighty Arnold Allen merch. I mean, I'm still waiting for you to send me one, Arnold. I'm very, very disappointed.
I'll send you one of these after.
Let's go. Just give me one in Manchester. That'll be easier. Post and packaging, international, transatlantic, very expensive. Yeah. All right, Giga Chikadze. How are we feeling about this one?
Yeah, good. You know, like I think it's no secret that I like to stand up and strike, and it's pretty obvious what he likes to do. So yeah. It's a fun matchup for me, and it's one of those ones that I enjoy. You know, so I think it's going to be a fan-friendly fight. I think it's going to be fun. Two strikers, and it's cool. It's a good matchup.
Is it the first fight on the main card?
That's what I'm told. Yeah, so I think 3 a.m.
I'm just looking it up now to confirm, because that is one hell of a way to kick off a main card. Because as you say, you always bring it, Arnold. I'm a big fan of the way you operate. Giga Chikadze, very, very exciting style. You're going to wake that crowd up.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a great fight card, but come that time in the morning, they might be starting to get a little tired. You're going to give them a good bolt of adrenaline. Little boost. What do you think about Giga?
Yeah, man, it's good. The guy's got great skills. He's been around a long time, obviously. But I know he hasn't been the most active. Like, me neither. But I know he's been out for a little bit, so injuries and whatnot, it happens. But yeah, the guy's very good, highly skilled, coming from a different sport and then coming into MMA. And he's done very well. Obviously, he's had a lot of friendly matchups for that kind of the style he has. But also, I'm another one. I'm another striker. So, yeah.
I had Giga,
you know.
I had Giga on last week. I don't know if did you see that interview?
No, I didn't know.
He's a great guy, and I was saying the same thing about you. I was like, Arnold Allen's a great guy, and yada yada, and he cut me off. He's like, I don't give a shit. I can't do a Georgian accent, but he's like, I don't care. I don't give a shit if he's a nice guy or whatever. I'm coming to take his head off, or words to that effect. Not in a disrespectful fashion. Yeah. He was just like, listen, it doesn't matter whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. I'm coming to beat this guy. Simple as that. And I love that about him.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing, isn't it? Who cares? Like, could be the best bloke in the world, but the goal's still the same.
So we were going to do this podcast a few days ago or whatever at a certain time. Then I changed the time and you couldn't do it because you've switched your entire kind of regime around for this one, obviously, with it being in the middle of the night.
Yeah. It's some weird shit going on at 4 a.m. when you're out in the countryside. But yeah, you know, it's all right. You know, I'm more awake now at 3 a.m. than I am at like 5 p.m. So that's a bit strange, but yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good, mate. It's all good. And at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. No. It's really not going to matter. I know you're doing what you can because that's called being a professional. Yeah. You know, and that's what you do. You take steps to ensure you can perform your best. But when you're making that walk, there's 20,000 people, 23,000, I think, in this new arena. And you're walking out there and the crowd's chanting and you've got Giga Chikadze waiting for you in the octagon. If that doesn't get you up for it, I don't know what will.
How was it when you fought Henderson the second time there? Because that was 5 a.m., right?
Yeah. I think it was it was almost 6 o'clock by the time the fight finished. It was fine. It was fine. The day of, I remember I got up a little bit later, of course. Yeah. But you've got that nervous energy, you know, so you wake up. So when I got some food, what did I do? I had a little workout in the hotel, nothing crazy, just, you know, shake off the weight cut and stuff like that. And then tried to take a nap. You know, those pre-fight naps are always hard. You know what I mean? And then obviously the nerves kick in, so you're getting a little bit of adrenaline and the stomach's starting to go a little bit. But it was fine. I certainly didn't feel tired.
Yeah, I could imagine that. You get that adrenaline kick, you're on.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying to Adam and Nick from TNT Sports earlier, if someone was to break into your house at 4 o'clock in the morning, do you know what I mean? You're going to be ready. You're going to be good to go. You're not going to say, oh, fucking hell, mate, it's the middle of the night. I'm knackered. If someone's in your house, you're ready to go. If someone's waiting for you in the octagon, you're ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. You bring in all the experts and whatnot, but you're gonna be awake.
Right. So, Arnold, let me ask you this. We're going to get to a tough question here. And this is in no way any disrespect. You were on an 11-fight win streak.
Yeah.
You go up against the legendary Max Holloway. You gave a really good account of yourself, but he gets the decision.
Yeah.
Then you go up against Movsar Evloev. Undefeated, phenomenal fighter. You gave him a really good go. It was a very close fight as well. But sadly, he got the decision. So talk to me about, because the reality is it's crazy. If you were to lose this, you've gone from an 11-0 winning streak to losing your last 3. Is that have you allowed your mind to even consider that?
Yeah, losing is always, I know some people say it's no chance, no whatever, but like it is a possibility, right? A draw is a possibility, however unlikely. But yeah, not really. I'm always sort of trying to train like I'm the underdog and all that stereotypical shit, but I'm always planning to win. The goal is always to win. And I'm still firmly chasing the title. That is my ultimate goal. Obviously, albeit a bit further away than I'd like to be at this point. But yeah, I feel like a good couple of wins, I can still be in there. So my motivation is no less. I just need a good win to get back in there.
Yeah, but I don't think your career has taken any hits, really. Yeah, there's all right. So on paper, when I'm looking at it, there are 2 losses. Max Holloway, Movsar Evloev, very close fight. So like one good win over Giga Chikadze. People look at your record and they see that it's not like people are going to go, oh, this guy's getting knocked out against bums. You had decisions against some of the best. So there's lots of positives to take away. But when you look at those 2 losses, is there anything that you could address in terms of your preparation or anything that you learned during the fight?
Yeah, preparation-wise, no. I always prep the best I can, I mean, like with the coaches I got and my body physically, like there's no stone unturned in that sense. But yeah, just maybe just getting after it a bit more, I guess. Like maybe try not to leave it in there. Easier said than done against Max, I guess. Being like the first full 5-rounder against best sort of 5-rounder there is, I guess. Yeah, so a lot of questions were to be answered in the fight, and knowing what I know now, maybe I could have pushed a bit more, but maybe I would have gone tits up in the fight as well. So
the day you fought Max Holloway, I went on my morning run, and you were by like a little lake or whatever. You were running sprints.
Yeah.
Running sprints, and I was like, whoa, look at this guy. He's running sprints the day of the fight. Talk to me about that. Sprints, I mean, it wasn't full-on sprints, but you were just waking the body up. What's the science behind that?
I like just to get the heart rate going, get a little sweat on in the morning. Like you said, just that little pre-workout. The first time I did it with Faraz, he put me through and I was on the red line, like on the pads. I was like literally on the limiter, like gassed. And I was like, fuck, this ain't looking good. And but I never felt better in the fight. Having that second win, sort of digestion in the day, felt great.
That's why you've got to do it, though, because for the longest time I didn't. I never used to do a workout the day of. And then when you think about it, you go from, I don't know how hard your weight cuts are, but you go from essentially almost killing yourself the day before, which is so utterly stupid, let's be honest, but we all do it. We all do it. And then you go from doing that to making weight, to eating, drinking, and doing nothing. And then the first time that you start the engine up is in the fight that you've been training for. So you've got to start the engine at least one time beforehand.
Yeah, agreed. I used to do the same thing. I'd weigh in, I'd eat a lot of shit for first.
Oh, man, I'd stuff myself.
Yeah, literally sit around till the fight's on. And then if I didn't have diarrhea fight day, I think there was something wrong.
What is your go-to? Like for me, because all my nutritionists used to say, listen, here's what you eat afterwards. Yeah. Little and often and all the rest of it. No way. I'd have a bag full of ice with like chocolate milkshake, with Mars bars and Snickers and the big grapes, and there'd be all some like healthy shit. I wouldn't touch any of it. I go straight for the chocolate milk, straight for the Snickers, straight for all that shit. We go out for an Italian. Right, I would fucking have the Italian. I'd have a shandy every time.
Yeah, proper shandy.
Beer. Yeah, proper shandy. Yeah, I'd have a shandy or one beer with. I'm like, it's not going to do any harm. It's all calories. It's all carbs. I'd have about 3 desserts and then go home going, oh, Jesus. So what are you doing, Arnold?
I used to do it. I'd be on the scale. I literally get off the scales, have a 4-pack of Tesco donuts, and then big milkshake, fucking all the brownies. Go to Nando's, have a burger, at least a Nando's burger. But yeah, now it's just like chicken, potatoes, pretty boring. Maybe like a granola bar with a bit of chocolate on it, maybe. But yeah, pretty boring.
So how's the meal deals going? What's the latest meal deal situation for those people that don't know in the US? That is like what do you get in a meal deal? It's Tesco's is a supermarket. They all do. You get a sandwich, you get a bag of crisps and a drink.
Yeah.
What's the best meal deal right now, Arnold?
Yeah, I've been out of the scene. I've been out of the scene in this camp. I've been I'm trying to be a pro. I've been avoiding them. Inflation is fucking kicking us in the ass, so
May
either for a sandwich.
Yeah, inflation's a nightmare. How is it out there? Is everything just stupid? Because rent and stuff out here is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the same as the rent is mental. Like running electricity is mad, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, we didn't bring you on here to talk about economics and the financial hardships of the US, of the UK. So what do you think about the featherweight division right now, mate? We've got a new champion. We haven't spoken since then. Ilia Topuria he looks phenomenal. What do you think of the whole division?
It's a funny one, isn't it? Like for Volkanovski, I hate to say it, he was so dominant, he's so good. I personally just don't see him getting the title back. I just don't see it happening. After those, just the way he trains, he's such a machine. Like always like very motivational to see the way he trains, his work ethic, his schedule. But it does catch up with you fast when you're doing that. And he was doing those back-to-back camps, and then take the short notice against Islam, and then the fight with Ilia. I don't know. I think he definitely will fight again, but I just don't see him winning the title back again. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. So, but yeah. It's a strange place for the division without him at the top of it now.
It is weird. You're right, because he was there for so long. And I'm sure you feel the same way. Maximum respect to Alexander Volkanovski. I mean, the man's an absolute legend. Awesome guy as well. Yeah. There was talk of him rushing back against Ilia and getting the rematch, but losing 2 via knockout, I'm not sure it was the smart thing. Yeah. Probably gonna be Max Holloway. Yeah. Right? For the against Ilia. What do you think about that? Who do you think wins?
Yeah, this refreshed version of that. I hate to say it, he made some adjustments after that last loss to Volk, and then when he fought me, he came in with a sort of new style, and he took that to the next level when he fought Gaethje. A bit more patient, a bit more distance control, a bit more accurate as well. And that version of Holloway looks hard to beat, Yeah. So I'd have to back him against Ilia in that fight with this new style that he's improving and getting better.
When you see Holloway moving up a weight class, who'd been beaten by Volkanovski 3 times, the first 2 were very close, but still, he was beaten 3 times. Then he moves up to 55 and just, let's be honest, dominates and then decimates.
Absolutely.
Just to gauge it. It's just unbelievable. Do you think about doing that maybe in a year or two? Because you're still only 30 years old.
Yeah. I mean, I could do that. I train with most of my training partners are lightweights, so I never feel overpowered or they're too big or I'm too small or whatever. Yeah, definitely could see that being an option.
Are you still going up to Renegade, training with Leon Edwards?
Yeah, so the last few weeks of camp I haven't, just because the time shift. I've been doing things a bit more locally. Leon's at 5:30, I'm fine at 3, so the training's staggered. So it just wasn't working out.
Oh, you guys are going that hardcore on it, are you? So what time does Leon train? Because I'll be honest, I just did a training session a bit later. And then it is what it is. Well, no, I didn't. I trained in California, and then I went out as late as possible. Because normally you go somewhere, I would like to go a couple of weeks before, if you can. I didn't do that this time. I went on I flew on the Monday, land on the Tuesday, because you've got to be there on the Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. I was talking to my dad about it, and obviously he was a doorman. All of his fights are 3 a.m. against drunk blokes. And he's just but once it kicks off, it's going. Who gives a f***? I was just yeah, it's true. But
he's right.
Yeah, he's right. I'm just trying to be a bit more scientific with it, but yeah, no, I know he's right ultimately.
And you are correct as well, because the body, listen, mentally, of course, once it starts, it starts.
Yeah.
But to compete at the optimum level over 3 or 5 rounds, to be able to put out the best input, to be stronger, to be fighting at your peak, of course, you got to prepare for that. We can all be dismissive and kind of, overly blokish about it. Oh, listen, once it kicks off, we're going, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
But you'd be a fool not to try and put in the best practices. So the champion's Ilia Topuria. Max Holloway's next with a win over Giga Chikadze. What's the future look like for Arnold Allen?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get. Well, I don't know. It's a weird, like you said, in the division. Ortega's talking about moving up. So that leaves, what is he, number 3? I think he is at the minute. Just beat Yair. I don't know what Yair is planning to do. If those are the kind of matchups you want to get in the title talks, only the top 3, top 4 guys. But yeah, that's the goal.
You mentioned your schedule before. I'm just looking at it right now. 1 fight in 24, 1 in 23, 2 in 22, 1 in 21, 1 in 20, 2 in 19. What the is going on?
To be honest, everyone always says that, but most of the time it ain't fucking me, it's the UFC. Literally, they're like, I'll be out in camp, training in Canada, like ready to go, get us a fight. And they're like, we're going to the UK in 6 months, so we'll just send you there. Like Bisping's fighting Anderson Silva, we'll put you on the undercard. I'm like, sweet.
Don't blame me.
Yeah. But, that was a lot of it. Injuries on not even my part, like other people pulling out last minute, all shit. So yeah, everyone's always, why is it so inactive? I'm like, man, I fucking train, like I'm in camp all the time. I'm ready to go. And then they're like, this is what happened with the Mosvar fight. They offered me Mosvar it was like 10 days or something. And then I was like, no, I'm not fighting that guy in 10 days. And then they gave me, it was like 18 weeks. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm fighting next year, not 10 days. So yeah. So it ain't really my fault.
No. I know it's not your fault, but is that like a big priority of yours going forward? Because you're 31, so you've still got lots of time on your side. Yeah. But obviously fighting once a year, nobody wants that. And I know from a financial aspect, that's not making the most out of the situation. So is that a big priority of yours? And if so, have you spoken to the UFC about like, listen, I need more fights?
No, I haven't. But I think where I was such a quiet guy and I just go under the radar and, I wouldn't ask or if they offered it, I'm like, I'm here, I've got something, let's go. But now I'm like actually established and my name's out there a bit more. I think they're pushing to get me fights more often, so that's good. 3 a year would be great. That would, we all get in this game because we love fighting, and that's it. I don't want to not be fighting all the time.
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, listen, Arnold, you're tremendous in the octagon. You're very, very skilled, fun to watch, exciting style, but you've always been a quieter guy.
Yeah.
Are you planning on making a bit more? And I don't mean selling your soul. I don't mean becoming somebody that you're not. Yeah. And talking shit for the sake of talking shit. But maybe as you're getting older and you mature and you feel a bit more comfortable in your skin type of thing, are you going to make the correct kind of noise? Yeah,
definitely. I think that's kind of been the thing I wanted to do my whole career. Like even starting my YouTube channel and shit, doing my own thing, just try and do it without becoming something I'm not, just do my thing and just be my own character,
Yeah.
And show I've got something. I'm not, because everyone used to go, Arnold doesn't say anything, he's boring. But yeah, exactly. I do it for the weird, quiet guys,
Were you kind of a shyer person when you were younger? What up, Mike?
Yo, what's
How
up?
you guys doing? How you doing, Arnold? You right?
Good, mate, you?
Yeah, good, man.
Were you a shyer guy when you were younger?
Nah, not really, to be honest. I was always awkward. But I actually got kicked out of school for being like loudmouth,
Oh, really?
Yeah, weirdly.
Well, what the going on, Arnold? You need to get on that microphone. You need to be a loudmouth. You need to talk some shit. You need to call out your opponents. Okay, come on. Come on, almighty Allen. Arnold, thanks for your time, buddy. I appreciate it. I'll be there in Manchester next week. If you don't bring one of those in size XL, right, we're going to have an issue. Bloody double X at this rate. XL. Hey, Arnold, thanks for your time, brother. I appreciate it. All the best. Sincerely, all the best next week. I'll see you there.
See you, wait.
Look at this, the one and only MVP. Again, swing me over.
Yes.
All right, Mike, what's going on? You look like you're in a little shopping mall there.
Yeah. Just took my little nephews and nieces out, and then a few of the other ones are coming out as well. So just taking out. We're just doing the uncle thing.
Yeah, what a guy. Always giving back. Right, gotta ask you this. What is going through your mind when you're sitting there at the press conference and Ian Garry starts saying that you've paid $10,000 to bribe him, to bribe his teammate for information?
It's I would never give up $10,000 for anything. This is why I make weight every time. I ain't giving away that kind of money. This is why I've never missed weight, bro. You think I'd ever give that? Listen, I come from an area where I was never making that kind of money. So I would never give that away for some information on him.
No, I know. Listen, and we haven't spoke about that, by the way, but I'm like, as I was watching, I'm like, I know for a fact that has not happened. Not because I'm taking your side in the argument, simply because no one's going to pay 10 grand. Well, what do you think he's working on? Well, he's working on takedown defense. He's working on his kicks. He's working on his strikes. Is that really worth $10,000? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just like I said,
the thing is, at the same time, for somebody like him, I wasn't going to pay too much attention to anything that he's going to be saying. So I was just focused on just hyping up the fight as I normally do. Let him talk a little bit and then fire back. And then that's it. I didn't really care about all the other nonsense.
Yeah, no, I'm rightly so. So talk about the fight, Mike. Frustrating from your side?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely frustrating. More so for me, though. Like, I anticipated him playing that game anyway. And a few things happened in the lead up to the week. I don't like to make too many excuses for anything, but I think I just wasn't myself. And I always say, if I'm not the best version of myself when I go out there, things like that can happen. And I definitely wasn't the best version of myself. It was still a, somewhat close fight. I haven't actually gone back over it yet, but I will do. From what I'm hearing, somewhat close fight. Could have gone either way if I made a couple of, better decisions during the fight. But for me, I just wasn't on my A game. I wanted to have a finish for that fight and, really shut him up. But regardless, I'm not going anywhere. I'm looking to get back in there as soon as I can and then keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, well, for the record, I thought you won the fight. Obviously, he got one. You took two. That was clear. I thought you did enough in the first half of round 3. I mean, because, he got a position on you in his half of round 3, but he didn't do anything with it. But regardless, it is what it is. So where do we go from here, Mike? Because I know you had a trajectory. You beat Ian Garry, eyes on Leon Edwards, a bump in the road now. So how do we navigate the path now?
You know what? For me, I still feel like I hold weight. People are still excited to see me fight. And for a while that is there, it's one more win and I'm back in the same conversation again. So nothing. I'm still on a mission. I'm a man on a mission still. So for me, I'm not sure anybody specific, but it's just one. We'll get back in the win books. One more win, and again, stay at the top of the table. I don't need to be brought back in. Stay at the top of the table. One more big win, and then we're still talking the same talk.
Nice, and that's lovely to hear. I was just telling the same thing to Arnold Allen because he was on an 11-fight win streak, and then he loses to Max Holloway and Movsar Evloev, who's undefeated. I'm like, dude,
you lose tough fights, man.
Yeah, they're like top of the food chain. One win, and you're right back in there. So I'm sorry, 100%. I've got to ask you, if there was one name, what would that name be?
I would still go for someone like a Usman. He's number one ranked. And my thing is, the only reason I keep saying this as well is because he doesn't seem to be in line for a fight. So I'm not sure what he's doing. I mean, I don't really see anybody calling him out or there's even like a talk of anything happening with him. I don't know if he's staying in the division, but if he is going to be staying in the division, then why not? If he's happy to take the fight, then why not? But yeah, there's loads of other names. But I'm talking about just getting one back in with somebody credible, and then just getting straight back to where I want to be at. So someone like him makes the most sense if he allows it, if the UFC allowed it.
And is that a quick turnaround, Mike? Because you haven't got a mark on you. It's not like, the fight was 2 weeks ago now, but it's not like you took a lot of damage, is it?
No, not at all. So I'd say end of the year. Give me a little bit of time to kind of prep properly. But end of the year, so November, September, November, which is around the corner really. But yeah, I just want to get back in.
No, it's mental, mate. We're in August, essentially. It's insane. This year is flying by.
No.
Did a little bird tell me that you opened a restaurant?
Yeah. So I'm an investor in a restaurant. Probably obviously there's a few other investors, but I'm probably the most credible face, shall I say. Everyone else is a bit more, just more the financial side. But it's a great team of people. The restaurant is unbelievable. It's doing so well. It's called Ixchel. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's on Kingsland Road. And I don't know if you remember, Kingsland Road is a very difficult road to have any kind of business on. You see places opening and closing all the time, but we've literally just gone from strength to strength. And it's a great place. Anybody wants to go down for good Mexican food, it's definitely one of the top.
All right, well, there it is. I'll be swinging by for sure. What else is going on, Mike? So right now you're just having a bit of downtime. You're in the mall. What are the kids making you buy them?
Everything they see at the moment. Everything they see at the moment.
Designer stuff or just like cheaper stuff or toys?
They're still pretty much. There's only one of them that's 12 and that kind of bracket. So they're still very much into their kind of kiddie stuff. So it's a bit easier. But the thing is, it's funny. I'm the fun uncle, but I'm still strict as well. So I'm like they have to be sure about what they want, and it's just I don't think I'm just getting you everything. But you can ask for as much as you want, but you're only going to get something specific, and it has to be meaningful. I try to make them think about it.
But toys are easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you go to a toy shop, you can act like Santa Claus. You can buy this, that, and the other.
Exactly,
but my kids now, Jesus Christ, they want iPhones.
So the tech. So the tech.
And like my daughter, she wants, I've been looking at this jacket, and it's like, you can forget that. What are you talking about? Alexander McQueen and shit. I'm like, no. Not going to happen. Got to ask you, your division, you're going to be there. You're going to join us on the weighing show, UFC 304.
Yes,
looking forward to that match. Should be a laugh.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be great.
Leon versus Bilal.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
It's a great fight. It's a fight that I think both of them, obviously Leon, both of them took the long path to kind of get to that position. Leon fully deserves, being in the position that he is. Bilal, I think he also deserves to be in the position he is. But unfortunately for Bilal, in my opinion, I just feel like it slightly edges over 5 rounds and slowly edges towards Leon Edwards. If he's going to get it done, he has to get it done early, but he's a very slow-paced fighter. He's not a person that likes to pile on loads of pressure. Obviously, we've seen, 1 round from them before. And again, it was a very slow-paced fight. And I just feel like over time, Bilal's striking will slowly decrease, while Leon Edwards' striking will still be, available to him, as we've seen him against Usman in the 5th round, pulling out a kick like that. It shows that he's going to have that ability for, every single round. Whereas I think Bilal's striking is not his best suit. He's definitely improved in striking, but when you get tired, you start to fall on old bad habits. And I think that's where you're going to get exposed.
Mike, you're sounding like a top-ranked analyst right now. Jesus Christ. Tom Aspinall's trying to take my job. You're coming for my job. You're going to be on the range, Joe.
Nah, you're the best at it, man. You're the best at
it. Get away. These guys are so much better spoken than me. Let me ask you this. Is there a little bit, because you're going to be there, it'd be lovely to see you, by the way. Maybe we can get together.
Definitely.
Is there a little bit of you that thinks, maybe I should have fought in Manchester?
No, not at all. Again, the whole reason why it was it ended up, I actually wanted it to be Manchester, to be fair. The only reason was because Ian Garry was very adamant to fight with Conor McGregor, which didn't happen anyway. he was adamant that he wanted to be on his dad's show. So that's the that's the reason why, and that didn't happen. So Again, I don't like to worry about what hasn't happened. I'm gonna go there, enjoy sitting next to you guys, and analyzing the fights and enjoy it from a different perspective, from a different angle. So either way, I'm gonna have fun and then just focus on me getting back in.
Yeah, of course. You and Ian, it did kind of get. I mean, you are always cool, Mike. You always keep a handle on yourself. But it was getting a little testy at times, certainly the final face-off. How is it now? Have you spoken to him at all?
Nah, I haven't. I literally didn't get to see him again at all. For me personally, I try not to. The only time I've actually had something where it felt personal was with Paul Daly. And that, I didn't really even enjoy that. Like, I don't need to. I spent years in the kickboxing circuit where I was traveling with the guys that we had to compete against. And some of them are my closest friends now. Like the likes of Robbie Hughes is my dentist. A guy that he's beaten the hell out of me for years when I was a kid. I fought him a few times as an adult. I've beaten him, but I love the guy to bits. So I'm so accustomed to being cool with the people that I get to compete against. 100%, I like to hype up fights and have fun and a bit of bants, but I don't need to take it too seriously. I don't like anybody messing with my emotions. So, like you say, I like to try and be in control of that side of things. So, yeah, for me, it's all cool. I'm looking forward to getting you back the same way when Douglas Lima got me. I was looking forward to getting him back, and I feel exactly the same way. We'll cross paths again. I will get you back, and then we'll keep it moving.
Spoken like a true gent. I mean, come on, that was perfectly put. And the dentist, sorry, I'm not familiar with him. He was on your team. He went from kicking your teeth out to fixing your teeth. All right, well, Mike, it looks like your connection is just all about but shit in the bed right now. The audio's gone tits up, so I'm going to let you get back to spoiling the kids. It's gone. It's terrible. You get back to spoiling the kids. I'll see you in Manchester next week.
Yeah. Nice one, man. Take care.
You're the man, Mike. Take care, buddy. Talk to you soon. All right, this episode is sponsored by FitBod. You've heard me multiple times talk about this by now, and I recommend this to a lot of people that have just kind of plateaued. Their workout has gone stale. They've lost motivation, or they just can't be bothered anymore. Maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they haven't got the equipment. Maybe they haven't got the time. Maybe you're on the road a lot, okay? That's where FitBod comes in. Obviously, it's an app you download it on your phone, okay? The app will create a personalized workout routine for you. Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, put muscle on, you're trying to lose some weight, you want to get better shape, cardiovascular, it will develop a workout for you. It will also develop it on the equipment that you have available. So if you've got a few bits of equipment, if you've just got the park down the street, or you've got a full gym available at your fingertips, it will develop a workout for you. It will track all of your muscle recovery, your growth, your streaks, your recovery, so you avoid burnout, you can maintain the momentum. And of course, you can learn the movements the correct way with over 1,000 high-definition demonstration videos. So you've really got no excuse. And especially when we mention this offer, you can try the app out for free. And if you like it, you can get 25% off. By the way, you've basically got a personal trainer in the palm of your hand that will formulate a state-of-the-art workout program for you based on your schedule, available equipment, and whenever you are ready to do it. And as I say, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, lose weight, build muscle, get in better shape, or just kind of de-stress, whatever the case may be, burn off a few calories, release some endorphins, and, work off a bit of that depression, right? Working out is absolutely essential. And if you don't know what you're doing, therein lies the problem. And not everyone can afford a personal trainer. Not everybody wants to go and do group classes, okay? But if you get FitBod, that will answer all of your questions. As I say, fine-tuned by experienced certified personal trainers, over 1,000 demonstration videos, and a workout suited to you for exactly what you're trying to achieve. Fitbod.me/believe to try the app out for free and then get 25% off the subscription. Fitbod.me/believe. Okay, the one and only MVP, thank you very much. See you in Manchester. It's that time of the show where we talk about questions. If you have a question, please send it into the BYM pod. No, not the BYM pod @gmail.com.
And if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you find podcasts, make sure to subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating, positive review. It really helps out on those platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and you hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new video drops. And if you want to catch over 500 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM. Save yourself 20% on the whole network.
I've got a question.
What's that?
Is the reason that you used to punch walls because of me?
What?
I was sitting there in bed bored the other night, just going through the comments on YouTube, and everyone's like, "Oh, Bisping," and we've said this a million times. They're like, "Yeah," someone's like, "It's banter." It's like, no, Harrington actually said he used to punch walls. That's got to be because of Bisping.
No, that's because I was just a maladjusted, angry teenager.
I want to see the maladjusted, angry Harrington on Monday's show.
I'm going to need to start drinking again.
Oh, Jesus, don't do that. Don't do that. Brian, we got a question, buddy?
Yeah, I got a question here. This gentleman didn't leave his name, but here he is.
Hey guys, how's it going? Coming to you from Miami. And my question is, what do you think separates the good from the best? For example, Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev. Both are so good, but only one of them is a little bit better and has what it takes to be the champion. Is it the mindset, the training, a bit of everything? Let me know.
That is actually a really, really good question. The mindset is an obvious answer to go for, because Islam has that. He does have a championship mindset. But along with that, he's also got a lifetime training, essentially mixed martial arts, Sambo. There's various elements of different martial arts there. Raised in a gym alongside Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and just kind of bred into that environment. So I think that would, just using them two as examples, that would give him an advantage over most people. And of course, with the variety of skill sets, the strikers catching up to the wrestling, of course, that gives him an advantage as well. Given also the kind of, he's a devout Muslim, so there's a very, very disciplined lifestyle that he lives. Again, there's certain advantageous elements to that. There just is. Then, guys like myself that, you're disciplined for 2 months and then you kind of go off the deep end, like Paddy Pimblett, getting up, ballooning up in between weights. He's not that type of guy. He lives a very, very disciplined lifestyle. But what separates the elite? It's willing to do the sacrifice. It's willing to put it into one sentence, I would say, in my opinion, and there's probably other things, but to give an answer to the question, it's willing to make the sacrifices. Are you willing to make the sacrifices? Are you willing to do what needs to be done? Because if you are, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed success. Because a lot of people are willing to make sacrifices. If I'm guaranteed to become UFC champion of the world, if I just make sacrifices, no, that doesn't work. But if you have the ability, having the ability is one thing, But if you're not willing to make the sacrifices, if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, if you're not willing to not drink, be away from your family, not have a social life, if you're willing to be hardcore, if you're willing to, talking about me, not that I think I was elite, but I was a champion, to disregard the losses, to learn from the losses, though, at the same time, and still not give up hope, that's kind of, and not have a defeatist mentality, not have a victim complex, you know what I mean? Not feel sorry for yourself, to have the ability to constantly get pushed back, but still go forward and still believe in yourself. That's a powerful thing, and it's almost unbeatable. And that's kind of the strength that I had. Islam Makhachev has got a very, very different strength. He's ridiculously disciplined. He's spent an entire life training. So I think it all comes down to different things. But the ability to be disciplined is certainly got to be one of the forefront. What do you think, Harrington?
Well, I 100% agree with you. I think, though, that discipline is what separates the elite from the good. What he's asking, I think, is what separates the elite from each other, from the elites from the champ. Because I think Justin Gaethje certainly should fit into that elite category. Dustin Poirier should fit in that elite category, but neither one of those guys has touched undisputed gold. So it's like there does seem to be that next level, and I genuinely do think mindset is a massive part of it from a fan's perspective. You're somebody who, even after every one of your losses, you reminded people, no, in my heart of hearts, I am a champion. I will become champion. That's what's going to happen. And I think it culminates in something like Israel Adesanya looking at his opponent before the 5th round saying, you cannot defeat me. I am prepared to die. And it took someone like Alex Pereira coming along to say, I am prepared to kill you to win this belt, for that aura to finally be cracked. So I do think there is something to that, like that guy having that drive and that inner belief that I am already champion of the world, you just don't know it yet, that I don't see from some of these guys who are truly, truly great, but never do get to touch gold.
Now, of course, also, speaking of disciplined and living a disciplined lifestyle, you could point to somebody like John Jones and say, well, hold on a minute. He's not the most disciplined guy, but I guarantee he is. I guarantee he puts the work in when it's necessary. Now, of course, there was the famous case of him not really training for Alexander Gustafsson. Well, when he fought Alexander Gustafsson, he nearly lost to him as well. And maybe towards the end of his light heavyweight run, maybe he was starting to coast, because they weren't as devastating and stuff like that. And that's just what happens when you get complacent. He was a victim of his own success. He was winning fights so handily and so easily. Maybe he took his foot off the gas a little bit. But I'm sure that when he was fighting for his heavyweight debut against Cyril Gane, that he was like motivated to come back after 3 years and show the world and remind them how good he was. And look what he did to Cyril Gane. Of course, he's not the most disciplined guy. And John Jones, currently in the news. Did you see that he's pleaded not guilty, by the way?
I did see that.
Pled not guilty. What does that mean, Harrington?
That means the trial's coming up.
It means it's going to trial. The Johnny Depp, Amber Heard trial of the century. I'll be live streaming the whole thing. It's going to be interesting, though. It's going to be very interesting. Thank you for the question, though. What separates the elite from the good? That's what he said, right?
I don't remember, but I think that was.
You said it was elite from the elite. Well, how can you separate the elite from the elite? They're elite.
Some guys are truly elite level, but never become champions. You can't stay at the top of this game, at the top of the rankings, in the top 5, fighting the best of the best on the planet for almost a decade and not be considered elite.
Well, I'm elite. A select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of a group or society. So the elite, the best, the champions.
I think the elite is a group and then champion is a singular, somebody who rises above all the other, even the best guys to become champion of the world.
No, I understand what you're saying. A perennial contender. A perennial contender, you would consider them elite. But if they're a perennial contender and never become champ, are they elite, or were they just always? He was really good.
You can't tell.
No, I'm asking a question. I'm not saying. It was a question. I'm asking a question.
I think for the people who watch the sport and care about the sport and discuss the sport, yes, you can 100% be elite. You can't tell me Joseph Benavidez was not elite for his run at flyweight. Demetrius Johnson just happened to be there.
And that's a great example. That's a perfect example because Joseph Benavidez was elite. He really was. He really was elite. And Demetrius was there. And then who else did he lose to? I mean, Davidson Figueiredo right at the end, but Henry Cejudo was there as well. He went on to become a double champ. That was a good one. Anyway, that's the show, everyone. Big thank you to Michael Venom Page, to Arnold Allen, to Brendan Allen. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you on Monday.